Welcome, everybody, to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube today. Hello, friends. Your ridiculously over good brother, Anthony Florio, here with you. Nice to see you all. Joined, as always, by the Phenom, Michael Bullock. And for at least tonight only, the Yes Movement is going to be running this show here tonight because of the fact that good old MF, Michael Fletcher, and the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, the Twisted Angel, Dee Woodson, not joining us this evening. MF, of course, work commitments beyond his control, but he will be back with us tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk. And as far as Dee Woodson is concerned, personal matters, but she should be back with us tomorrow night. So just wanted to address those elephants in the room. So Bullock and I are going to run this show here tonight. We apologize for the late start. Michael Bullock was out tonight, and I was waiting on him to get in, and this shouldn't take long because, Raw was another subpar effort, but I'll tell you what, I mean, compared to recent weeks, I mean, it wasn't as bad as, recent weeks. It was a step in the right direction, but there's still a lot of work to be done with Raw tonight. So with all that being said, this is it. The final Monday Night Raw, the go-home show for Extreme Rules. It was live tonight from the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts, the home of the Bruins and the Celtics. And it was, as always, on the USA Network. And without any further ado, let's dive right on in. And we started it off with a very heated opening segment. The big dog, Roman Reigns, calls out Bobby Lashley. And then before you know it, all hell breaks loose. They go at it. Kurt Angle had to bring out the troops, the Raw roster. A pull-apart brawl reminiscent of the infamous Brock Lesnar-Undertaker brawl from 3 years ago. But I still think that brawl was a smidgen better, even though this one was amazing. But there's nothing left to say here. This was the segment of the night. Hands down. Very good open with basically no talking, all action, and a red-hot Boston IWC crowd for the brawl. Loved it, loved it, loved it. More of that, please. That's how you start a Monday Night Raw right there. And compared to all the nonsense we've had in recent weeks, what a great sight to see. Something awesome happen on this show for once. So, very well done. That's how you start a show, and it's also how you sell a match. Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley, Sunday Night at Extreme Rules. There's no doubt about it. I'm gonna go on the record and say this is gonna be the main event. I wouldn't be surprised if they have this main event to show. That's all I can say on that. So we'll see what happens. So nothing more to say on this segment of the night. Absolutely well done. It definitely brought back memories of the Lesnar-Taker brawl from 3 years ago that Bullock and I actually watched together. That was one of our first Raw chats, and boy, howdy did we have fun with that 3 years ago. And Bullock, it's a damn shame we couldn't have our Raw chat tonight, but if we did, oh my goodness, would we have had fun with this segment of the night, hands down.
Well, I'll tell you this, Florio. I mean, yes, we would have had fun with this, but I think we had more fun with that Taker Lesnar brawl. I mean, wouldn't you agree on that?
Of course. That's why I said it was still better.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And now this, Florio, this is the Bobby Lashley that that not only you've been wanting to see, but I've wanted to see. I mean, this brawl between the two, I mean, if you thought there was any friendship between the two, well, that pretty much just went out the window. I mean, let's say that right now. I mean, this is an awesome way to start off the Monday Night Raw without a shadow of a doubt. And yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this match this Sunday at Extreme Rules. And I think this should be the main event of Extreme Rules. I mean, basically, the build, it's been good, especially after what we just saw here tonight. There's really nothing more to say. Hands down, this was the segment of the night. So, that being said, Florio, let's just move right along.
And we're going to move on to our first match of the night. First of two women's matches on the night. Tag team matchup. This was one I saw coming from a mile away. Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss teaming up with Mickie James to square off against Nia Jax and Natalya. The winners of the match, 8 minutes and 8 seconds. It was Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey. Nia Jax with a press slam, and then that squish leg drop for the 1-2-3. So, Bullock, let's get your thoughts on this women's tag team matchup. Time of the fall, 8 minutes and 8 seconds.
All right. Wait a minute, Florio. Don't you mean Nia Jax and Natalya?
I guess I have Ronda Rousey on my mind. Yes, Nia Jax and Natalya.
Yeah,
Nia Jax and Natalya.
Yeah, because remember, Ronda Rousey's still suspended from Raw.
That I know, but she'll be there Sunday for Extreme Rules. But let's get your thoughts on this tag match. Nia and Natalya picking up the victory. 8 minutes 8 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was I thought it was a fine match here. I'll give it about 2.25, 2.5 for the effort here. I mean, yeah, I thought the action was good for what it was and the amount of time it did have, but yeah, I mean, after the match, I mean, basically, well, Alexa Bliss basically took advantage of by basically using a kendo stick to not only by striking Natalya and Nia Jax with the kendo stick, but then eventually Nia Jax basically took the kendo stick away and basically sending Alexa Bliss away. And so, yeah, Alexa Bliss, I mean, let's just say she's in a heap of trouble because now not only you got an angry, irresistible force that you're going to have to deal with, but you also got to deal with the rowdy one, Ronda Rousey. So, yeah, and let's just say, Alexa Bliss, you put yourself in this situation, and now you're going to have to get yourself out of the situation. And anything you get on Sunday, you're going to get exactly what you deserve, courtesy of the irresistible force, Miss So-Called Goddess. Please, Florio, it's yours.
2 to 2.5. I mean, it was an okay match with Nia Jax picking up momentum ahead of challenging for the Raw Women's Championship. Solid post match. I thought it was no question about that. Post match was also solid, no doubt. So yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. I maybe would say third best fight of the night, if I'm being honest. So really nothing more to say here. Let's just continue on here. And of course, what's a ridiculously Raw without, of course, cutouts. And our first cutout, No Way Jose against Mojo Rawley. Mojo Rawley wins the match, 4 minutes and 15 seconds. 1.5 star match. It was a bland match with next to no heat, completely flat finish. We're just going to park it there. And now we move on to another great moment here. In-ring segment this time with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, cuts his promo, basically puts over Dolph Ziggler and, talks about his match, the upcoming match at Extreme Rules, the match that I personally think is going to steal the show. The match, his upcoming match with Dolph Ziggler, where he'll challenge one more time for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Of course, that will now be a 30-minute Iron Man matchup. That's got potential to be something really special. Got potential to be a match of the year candidate. And of course, Rollins does get interrupted this time by Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. And, they exchange jabs and, Seth had some funny ha-ha moments there, but nonetheless, chaos breaks out between Rollins and McIntyre, and it would set up the main event of the evening. Sets up a match, Seth Rollins against Drew McIntyre, with a very interesting stipulation. If Seth Rollins defeats Drew McIntyre here tonight, Drew McIntyre will be banned from ringside and will not be in Dolph Ziggler's corner for that Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship Iron Man match on Sunday night. But of course, if Drew wins, then of course Drew will stay. Then Drew will of course be allowed at ringside and allowed to be in Dolph's corners. So, second best segment of the night, no question about it. I mean, it helped add to the build to Sunday's pay per view, and it set up a potentially great main event. I could have done without the funny haha jokes, though. They kind of felt a little lame, but other than that, this was the second best segment of the night. It was really good. I only thought that if that Roman and Lashley segment didn't blow me away, I would have said this was the segment of the night. But because of how damn good that Roman and Bobby Lashley segment was, especially with that pull apart brawl, I can only give this second best segment of the night. But A for effort, though, no doubt about it. So no question about it. Bullet, come on in. Let's get your thoughts. This segment with Seth Rollins interrupted by Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre, and setting up Rollins and McIntyre in a high stakes main event.
Yeah, I mean this definitely was the second best segment of the night. I mean, I do agree. I mean, I think I could have gone without the haha stuff, but man, I mean, this was. I mean, yeah, I mean, if Reigns and Lashley didn't blow us away, this definitely would have been the segment of the night. I mean, it definitely set the tone for what would turn out to be the main event of the evening, and like you said, high stakes for the main event. I mean, because like you said, I mean, if Seth Rollins wins, then Drew McIntyre is barred from ringside. But of course, if Drew McIntyre wins, then he will be allowed to stay at ringside. So, and all I can say is, I mean, I think we're all hoping for Seth Rollins to win, because I want to see a very good Iron Man match, because with the way these two can put on a damn good match, it could. I think this is the match that could definitely steal the show at Extreme Rules. So, nothing else to say. Let's just move right along, Florio.
Very well, and of course we're back in cutout mode here. Matt Hardy against Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas wins it, 8 minutes and 40 seconds. Good amount of time, but here's the thing, though. The match was not all that good, so because of that, I'm going to call cutout here. I'm sure Bullock probably will agree with me on that. So, 1 star. To me, I could say worst fight of the night. I mean, Matt dominated and then again slipped on a banana peel to take another loss. I mean, it would be something if the B team were picking up wins in quality matches, but they're presented as comedy goofs who just get lucky, making it hard for us to care. The match felt long and useless, just nothing there to get us engaged in what they were doing. So, to me, I probably would say the worst fight of the night. No doubt about it. Now we're back into to a better match here. Second women's match of the night, a return match from last week. We had the War Goddess Ember Moon squaring off against the Riot Squad Spitfire, and I'm going to debut this pet name for her now. From now on, I'm going to refer to her as the Blue Tongue Banshee, Liv Morgan. But Ember Moon, the War Goddess, she goes over once again, just like last week. 7 minutes, 57 seconds, about an 8 minute or so about that I think is worth getting into. So, Bullock, I believe we started with you here. The War Goddess, she goes over again on who I'm now dubbing the Blue Tongue Banshee, then Liv Morgan. So,
what was the time of the fall again?
7 minutes and 57 seconds.
Yeah, I'll give it about 1.5 to 2 stars for the match here. I mean, a nice win here for Ember Moon here, and yeah, I mean, I actually kind of like that name for her, the Blue Tongue Banshee for Liv Morgan. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could pretty much call her that especially with that blue tongue. Ooh. Man, I don't know what else is there to say. Florio, it's yours.
Yeah. Reason for that is, of course, if you don't know, Liv Morgan has a blue tongue, and if you've heard her, whether she's in a match or with her Riot Squad sisters, I mean, she screams like a banshee. So that's why, hence I'm dubbing her the Blue Tongue Banshee now. But I'll admit it. I mean, she looked pretty solid here again. But of course, the War Goddess was going to go over. It was an okay match, and I'm very happy that Ember Moon keeps racking up wins and looking good in her matches. Uh, Bullock said 1.5 to 2. I'm actually gonna give it a solid 2 for the effort. No 1.5 necessary. So with that, we're just gonna move on to our next match. I can tell you now there will be no more cutouts the rest of the way, so that's a good sign. Tag team matchup. We have Finn Balor teaming up with the glorious Bobby Roode, taking on, oh boy, me and Bullock's favorite wrestler, the Constable, Baron Corbin. Said no one. And his partner, of course, MF's boy, Elias. When all was said and done, the winners of the match, in 13 minutes and 2 seconds, the Constable, Baron Corbin, and Elias, they get the win. Baron Corbin, or Constable Corbin, with the end of days on Bobby Roode for the 1, 2, 3. Second best fight of the night. I'm going to give this a solid 2.5 to 3 stars. Okay match with a better second half than first. And Baron Corbin picking up momentum ahead of the pay-per-view. Of course, if you don't know, Constable Baron Corbin will square off against Finn Balor this Sunday night at Extreme Rules. So, nice win for the Constable. So, we'll see if that translates into what would be one of the biggest wins of Corbin's career if he can go over Finn Balor on Sunday night. So, see what happens with that. So for me, second best fight of the night. I'm going to give this 2.5 to 3 stars. So, Bullet, come on in. Let's get your thoughts on it. The Constable goes over again, whether we like it or not. But he's picking up W's, so that's all that matters. 13 minutes, 2 seconds, time of the fall.
Yeah, 2.5 to 3 stars is my rating. A nice win for the Constable Baron Corbin. To give him, like you said, some momentum going into his matchup with Finn Balor this Sunday at Extreme Rules. So, I think some nice momentum from him. So, will it carry out to a victory over Finn Balor? We're just going to have to wait and find out. So, there's really nothing more that needs to be said. So, let's just move right along, Florio.
And we move on to the main event of the evening, the high-stakes main event. Here we go. The Kingslayer and the Architect, Seth Rollins, squaring off against Drew McIntyre. Remember, the stipulation. If Drew McIntyre loses, he is barred from ringside from that Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship Iron Man match at Extreme Rules. But if McIntyre wins, then he's allowed to stay. So here we go. Winner of the match, in 21 minutes and 5 seconds, no joy in Mudville. It's Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre actually picks up the win. The Claymore kick gets the win off of a small distraction by Dolph Ziggler. McIntyre hits the Claymore kick. 1, 2, 3. Drew McIntyre picks up the win, and he will be allowed to be in Dolph Ziggler's corner on Sunday night. Very surprising result. I honestly thought for sure Rollins was going to go over, but no, McIntyre gets the Duke, Claymore. So sorry, Bullock. We're going to have to deal with Drew McIntyre in Ziggler's corner here. Sorry.
Yeah, and I hate to say it. I think this is going to, I don't know if you'll agree with me on it. I think it's going to take a little bit away from that Iron Man match this Sunday.
Absolutely.
If it was just the two of them, I would have said this definitely would have stole the show, but nope. Drew McIntyre said not going to happen because I win and I'm going to be at ringside and be a distraction. So, this was indeed the fight of the night. I'll give it about, I'm going to give it 4 stars even. I thought it was a good main event and definitely a great way to close out Monday Night Raw. And yeah, I mean, with that loss, I mean, could it create some doubt in the mind of Seth Rollins? But you know what? I mean, it's not going to create any doubt in Seth Rollins because you can't doubt the Kingslayer because you know what, Florio? Because at Extreme Rules, he's gonna burn it down. Yeah, so solid main event, 4 stars. Yeah, and unfortunately, this is definitely going to take away from the Iron Man match. So, Florio, what's yours?
You know, there could be a chance that McIntyre could get thrown out if he gets a little too antsy there. If he gets his hand caught in the cookie jar, which has happened before.
Which he probably will.
Yeah, hopefully it will happen at maybe early in the bout. That would be good. But personally, I would love to have Kurt Angle, you know, make an executive decision and just have McIntyre thrown out anyway, regardless of this. But nonetheless,
well, not when you've got the Constable Baron Corbin breathing down your neck.
And Stephanie too, for that matter. I agree. Fight of the night. You're absolutely spot on here. Far and away fight of the night. 3 3/4 to 4 stars. Very, very good main event. And a really strong performance from Drew McIntyre, who is more than ready to be more than Dolph Ziggler's sidekick. Seth Rollins continues to be the most consistent performer on Monday Night Raw, delivering once again. And even with McIntyre out there, I still believe Rollins and Ziggler is going to be a show stealer on Sunday. They've already delivered on television. They've already built a great chemistry. I mean, dating back to when they were the final 2 men in that infamous Team Cena, Team Authority traditional Survivor Series match in 2014, where Ziggler got the fall over Rollins because of Sting, but that's another story. But nonetheless, tremendous match. I mean, I knew this was going to be the fight of the night going in, and they over-delivered here, no doubt about it. So, well done, and a nice win for Drew McIntyre. I mean, I don't think Rollins will be hurt by the loss at all. I mean, yeah, we wanted to have McIntyre barred from ringside because, you know, him interfering will definitely cast a dark cloud over what I still think could have the potential to be a match of the year candidate in this 30-minute Iron Man match, Rollins and Ziggler. The match that I personally think will steal the show on Sunday night, Raw or SmackDown Live. So, nothing more to say here. Let's just get into the overall rating. And for me, I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. Compared to last week, it was a much better show. But even with that, it was still another below average and subpar meh effort with a very hot opening segment and a hot main event. Unfortunately, everything else in between just sort of existed and didn't offer much in terms of overall entertainment or quality pay-per-view build. But if you're pressed for time, I will highly recommend the opening segment with Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley, the segment with Rollins, Ziggler, and McIntyre, the tag team match, Balor and Rude against Corbin and Elias, and of course, I highly recommend the main event. No doubt about it. Those are how I honestly think you should watch if you're short on time or if you DVR'd. So, no doubt about it for me. Of course, Raw still has a lot of work to do if they're going to be anywhere close to hanging with SmackDown Live or competing with SmackDown Live. But there's no doubt about it here. Compared to that garbage show last week, this was a much better show, although it wasn't a blowaway show. So I'm going to give it 5.5 out of 10, maybe teetering on 6 at the absolute best. So nothing more to say here. Bullock, your overall thoughts on this Go Home to Extreme Rules edition of Monday Night Raw in Boston?
Yeah, this was a 5.5 to 6 out of 10 for me. I mean, it's definitely getting better, but yeah, they definitely still got a lot of work to do if they want to start to continue to get better. So, yeah, I mean, there's really nothing more to say. 6.5, I mean, 5.5 to 6 out of 10, excuse me. So, yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. So, Florio, it's time for your Tony Steak.
Yes, indeed. And get ready because we're going to be in for something really special here in just a moment. So, of course, we'll start it off as we always do with 205 Live. And Oh my goodness. Wait until you hear what I have to say about a certain match here. But let's address a couple of elephants in the room here. We started it off, TJP. He was cutting a promo. He thought he was going to be facing some Hammerneger jabroni, but no. He got a suitable opponent. And guess who's back in the cruiserweight division for the first time in a long while? The Scottish Supernova, Noam Dar. Yes, Noam Dar is back in the cruiserweight division. And Noam Dar beats TJP in 30 seconds. Of course, it's a cutout, but nice way to play off of Dar's NXT UK return. And TJP got his comeuppance for all of the trash talking, his recent trash talking. I loved it. Very nice. Even though it's a dud, no rating. But then we had a squash match. Akira Tozawa against some Hammerneger jabroni. He beats him in 1 minute and 55 seconds. Another no rating to a dud. But Tozawa picks up another win as he gets back on track, and it looks like they're setting up a feud with Akira Tozawa and Lio Rush. That could be interesting, without a doubt. And now to the main event. Highly anticipated main event, no disqualification match. Buddy Murphy, Mustafa Ali, winner of the match in 23 minutes and 25 seconds. Mustafa Ali. There is nothing more for me to say. It's not often I do this, but I got to do it. I got to pull the trigger. 5-star classic. Yes, you heard me right. This was a 5-star classic. Absolutely excellent main event that could be greatly overlooked by many, but I'll tell you what, these two guys were 1-1 in their feud going in. They had some great chemistry in the past, and they took that chemistry and experience from the other matches and delivered a must-see third act. It was violent. It played to the stipulation extremely well. It captured their characters perfectly due to the work they did. Buddy Murphy is a bloodthirsty heel that was willing to send Mustafa Ali to the hospital in order to win and get back to the Cruiserweight Championship picture, while Mustafa Ali is the best babyface, hands down, on the 205 Live brand. He's flashy to please the fans, gutsy when he has to be, and so resilient that the fans cannot help but to get behind him. This was an absolutely must-see match. If you skip it or you miss it, you are doing yourself a tremendous and terrible disservice, a great disservice. So Bullock and anybody else out there, watch this match, please, because I'm going to say please. So that's all I can say.
I was just going to say, aren't you forgetting what to say?
Yeah, because I'm going to say please, without a doubt. So 5-star classic. Go out of your way to watch it. For any of you who have the WWE Network, go to last week's 205 Live and watch that bout. You will not regret it. Believe me, you won't. Because of that fight alone, I'm giving this show a 9 out of 10. It was an excellent show. The main event, I can honestly say, maybe the best 205 Live main event I've ever seen. And on top of that, they continued the TJP angle, reintroduced Noam Dar, started a feud between Akira Tozawa and Lio Rush. It kicked all kinds of ass, this show did. So, and what do we have in store for tomorrow? Oh, not much. Only a Cruiserweight Championship match between Cedric Alexander and Hideo Itami. Yeah, good luck, fellas. You got one tough act to follow, let me tell you that. I don't know if it's going to be a 5-star like Ali and Murphy was, but I'm sure they'll give it their best. So that's the big match tomorrow night. Murph, Alexander, Itami, Cruiserweight title on the line. A rare title match, but let's do it. Cannot wait. So 9 out of 10 for that. 205 Live just continues to be the best wrestling show on TV, period. That's all there is to say. So now we're going to move on to the Impact Wrestling, which was just as good of a show. Not 205 Live, of course, the better show, but this one was just as good. We started it off with a one-on-one match, an X Division matchup. Rey Fenix, of course, you know Phoenix from Lucha Underground, squaring off against, of course, the newest addition to the Impact Wrestling roster, the former WWE Cruiserweight Champion, Rich Swann. Rey Fenix wins the match, 13 and a half minutes. This was the fight of the night, 3 3/4 to 4 stars. Very, very good match and a really strong way to kick off the show. A bit sloppy early, but they had a hot crowd and they delivered overall. And then you add in the post-match, and it was a great way to kick off the show. So, no doubt about it. Fight of the night. Well done. And then it's back to reality. Killer Kross making his debut. He went up against Fallah Bahh. Killer Kross won it 2 minutes, 22 seconds. No rating to a dud. Overall, solid debut for Kross, likely leading to a match with Petey Williams after the post-match angle, which makes sense. Then we had a Knockouts tag team matchup. Allie and Madison Rayne teaming up against Knockouts champion Su Yung and one of her undead bridesmaids. Allie and Madison Rayne win the match 6 minutes, 7 seconds. 2-star match. It was okay, but a bit overbooked. The good news is that Madison Rayne kept her momentum going into her Knockouts championship match against Su Yung at Slammiversary. And it looks like they're setting up a feud between Allie and Tessa Blanchard, who got involved during the match. So fine with me. That definitely has something to be, that's got potential. Then we had another Knockouts match. Katarina, accompanied by Grado, went up against Rebel. Katarina won it in 3 minutes. Second worst fight of the night. This was a 1-star match. It was extremely clunky, not good at all. Moving on. Then we had Brian Cage against Kongo Kong. Brian Cage wins it 5 minutes and 2 seconds. All right. Going into this match, I thought this had potential to be an absolute dud. I thought it was going to be a boring, slow, plodding, sloppy big man match. Oh, no. This was the sleeper fight of the night and the second best fight of the night. Believe it or not, you're not going to believe the rating I'm going to give this. Solid 3 stars. Very good and fun. Big man, hostile sprint with Brian Cage looking dominant ahead of his X Division title match at Slammiversary against Matt Sydal. And I'll tell you what, say what you want about Kongo Kong, but this was the best. I think this was the best he's looked in Impact Wrestling. So, well done. Way to surprise me. I thought this was good. I had no desire to see the match, but boy, howdy, did they surprise. 3 stars, second best fight of the night. And now the main event segment. It was an in-ring segment, the LAX saga. And all I can say is 2018 is the year of the wrestling civil war. First Bullet Club in New Japan, and now LAX explodes. I've enjoyed the LAX angle so far in many ways, and it's felt like a grindhouse-style movie presented in small parts. Eddie Kingston has always seemed to be sketchy and like a prime suspect in Conan's disappearance, and that came to life this week with a quality promo segment and the surprising returns of the original LAX, Homicide and Sean Hernandez, setting up what I believe will be a 6-man tag team match at Slammiversary with King, Homicide, and Hernandez against Conan, Ortiz, and Santana. Of course, Ortiz and Santana, currently the World Tag Team Champions. So you got to believe we're going to get a 6-man at Slammiversary to see which LAX faction stands tall and moves forward in the company. It all worked, and it was a great and correct way to close the show. 7 out of 10. That's my rating for this. Another good show on the road to Slammiversary. It was bookended by a great opening match and angle and closing angle. The in-between stuff was mostly solid overall as they continued to build to the pay-per-view. It wasn't all that spectacular, but they remained largely focused as they built to the big pay-per-view, which is appreciated. If short on time, catch the beginning and the end. That's all I can say there. So a solid 7 out of 10 for this past Impact Wrestling. And I would like to very quickly get into the content for this week's show. And this is what we're going to get on this week's show. Over the past few weeks, I've been saying about this D'Angelo Williams segment. It hasn't aired over the last couple of weeks. This time, we're finally going to get that D'Angelo Williams segment that will be interrupted by Austin Aries. The Desi Hit Squad will team up against KM and Fallah Bahh. There was a scheduled match between Desmond Xavier and Andrew Everett. Eddie Edwards, unfortunately, is going to get involved in that. Killer Kross against Petey Williams. Allie will be in a knockouts match against a new knockout by the name of Shotzi Blackheart. And then we had Eli Drake squaring off against Grado. The original LAX, Homicide and Hernandez with Eddie Kingston. They're going to be in a squash match against a couple of Hammernager jabronis. And then we had a 6-man tag team tornado match. All 3 members of OVE, Dave and Jake Christ and Sami Callihan, against Ray Phoenix, Pentagon Jr., and Rich Swann. Oh my goodness, that's got potential to be something hella fun. So I can't wait to see how that plays out. So that's pretty much it on that. So that's all the business at hand. So that's it. Ridiculously Raw in the books for this week. We want to thank you all so very much. We apologize again for the late start, but at least we got the show in. I'm very grateful for that. So let's get into the future content coming up. We got tomorrow night, 10 p.m. immediately following SmackDown Live. We will have another all-new edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk. Good old MF Michael Fletcher will be back, and he will be in the host chair, of course. He'll guide you through that show tomorrow night. We'll all be here with that. Go home to Extreme Rules edition of SmackDown Live. We'll review that. Of course, you know what's going on SmackDown Live. Asuka and James Ellsworth in a Lumberjill match. This is supposed to be something with Team Hell No. And, of course, the main event, non-title match, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura one more time. Oh, boy. Let's see how that goes down tomorrow night. That'll be SmackDown Live. And then, of course, Mikey's Mindset. MF will review Lucha Underground. And this very special event that went down over the weekend, that went down on Saturday night. New Japan Pro Wrestling had a G1 special at the Cow Palace in San Francisco. We'll get MF's thoughts on that. So that's on Tuesday. And then Friday, and that's tomorrow night, I should say. Friday night, Strictly Sports. We have a Strictly Sports docket. We'll talk about Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony is the free agent. Now, we got into this on the last show, but I guess Derek wants us to get into it again or something. I don't know. Talking about Tony Parker signing with the Charlotte Hornets. And then we have a big double main event. We are going to preview the final match of the FIFA World Cup, the World Cup final. We'll have MF preview that. And then, of course, we will have our newest Major League Baseball Power Rankings. So that means on Saturday night sometime we'll have to figure out a time to get in our Extreme Rules preview show. And then Saturday night, of course, and then on Sunday night, rather, we'll have our recap of Extreme Rules over on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95. And then back here next week for Ridiculously Raw. Next week, with Extreme Rules going down this weekend, we'll sort out all the fallout from the Raw side. And then we get to start the road to SummerSlam. Oh, yeah. We're going to have a lot of fun with that. Believe that. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk with MF, it's your ridiculously good brother Anthony Florio here for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit, good old MF Michael Fletcher, Didi Woodson, and Derek Ferrera. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up 14-4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Tuesday. Until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, keep it watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 and YouTube.com. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Florio, so long, and bye, everybody. Bye.